We're learning Zili Nishmas at Avodah Zarah Avos Mishna Yomi. If you buy a kli from a goy, as shedarka lahatvil yatvil, lahagil yagil, lavin ba'or yalavin ba'or. It depends how it was used originally by the goy. If it was used by the goy lahatvil, which the Ran explains it was used for tzainin, so then you just wash it off. Lahagil, if it was used with boiling hot water, so then yagil, so then you have to put it in boiling hot water and cook it up in boiling hot water again to be machshir. Lavin ba'or, if it was used in fire, so then the way you're machshir is ayidei bi melavin ba'or. The Gemara says that the pasuk says kol davar asher yavi be'esh taviru be'esh, and Rashi explains that however it was used ke'in boiloi le'iser yaflitenu, like we say keboiloi kach potos. However it got originally the food into it, that's how you get it out. And the Gemara says, Tana v'kulan srichin tvila. After you do all these things, the tzainin, or the hagala, or the libin ba'ar, after that, you have to be toivel it in regular cold water. And the Gemara learns that out from the pasuk, because afterwards it says in that same pasuk, a midyan, v'tiher is ha'isavcha hakasev ta'ara acheres. The Gemara also says, afilu kelim chadashim, even new kelim, which the Gemara says is dafka talking about kli seuda, and the Gemara also says dafka kli mateches hamurim beparsha. The Gemara adds, besides metal kalim, also kli zchuches, since when they break, you're able to repair it. So it's similar to kli mateches. They putting it into fire, you could remanufacture the glass. So therefore, by metal and by glass kalim, even if they're new, you would still need tefillah, and that's why when we buy kalim, you have to be toivel. But the Mishnah itself is not talking about. The Mishnah itself is talking about kalim that were used by a goy, that they were actually used by the goy. The Mishnah continues, hashvud va'askala melabnim ba'ar. So those are examples, a spit or a griddle. Those are kalim that were used through fire. So the way you would be machshir is al yidei being melabnim ba'ar. Hasakin, a knife, shafa v'hi tahir. You rub it and it's tahir. And the Gemara explains that you often have to be noyatzay asara pamim bekarkas. This is a chumrah by a knife that you have to, even though it was used b'tzainin, you have to stick it into the ground 10 times. And the Gemara says lecho b'tzainin. This is only to use it for tzainin, but something that was used for hagala, then you would need hagala. And Taisus discusses perhaps by a knife, if it was used for hot, even for cooking, you would need libun. The Ran explains that by a knife it's more chomer because agav duchka de sakina, the knife mamish pushes into the food, so bola, so then agav duchka de sakina bola, it absorbs more, and that's why we are more machmer by a knife. Seches Avos, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Aleph. Moshe kibel Torah me Sinai. Moshe accepted the Torah from Sinai. And the Gemara in Brachos on Daf Heyam and Aleph brings the pasuk, the Edna L'cha in Shmais, Perek Avdala, the Edna L'cha is Luchas Even HaTorah VaMitzvah Shekasafti L'Hoyroisam, and it darshans that everything, the Mishnah, the Gemara as well, Kulam Nitnu Moshe, everything was given over to Moshe on Har Sinai. Umasali Yeshua, Moshe gave it over to Yeshua. The Gemara in Tamura on Daf Tazayin Aman Aleph says that Bishosh and Nifter Moshe Rabbeinu L'Gan Eden, when Moshe Rabbeinu was Nifter, Amar Lei Yeshua Sha'al Mimeni Kol Sveika Sheyesh Lach, ask me any questions. Amar Loi, so Yeshua said, Rebbe Klum Hinachti Sha'achas V'Alachti L'Makam Achar, was I ever not by you? Loi Kach Kasafti Misharsi Yeshua Ben Nun Yomish Mitecha Oil, I was always by you, I know everything that you know. And Rashi says Moshe was Nitztar, that Shahi Gadol K'maisei, that Yeshua was Gadol K'maisei, and therefore Miyad Tashash Koicha Shel Yeshua, the Gemara continues that Yeshua was Nishtachu Mimenu Shalish Meyas Halachis. He forgot 300 halachas until Afal Pikein, the Gemara at the end says, Echzirin Asniel ben Kenaz Mitech Pilpula, that Asniel ben Kenaz returned the Torah. Yeshua l'Zakenim, then Yeshua gave it over to the Zakenim, which is based in a pasuk in Shoftim Perek Beis that says, "Vayavdu Ames Hashem Kol Yemei Yeshua v'Chol Yemei Hazakenim Asher Harichu Yamim Acharei Yeshua v'Zakenim l'Neviim." Zakenim gave it over to the Neviim. The Neviim Masru l'Anshe Knesses Hagedela, who the Rabbeinu Yonah says is Ezra and the Nevi'e Bayis Sheni that were around at that time. And the Rabbeinu Yomi continues, after that, Anshe Knesset Gedela was Masur Anshe Doira, V'chacham L'mibnei Machareim, B'chol Dar V'dar. It was always a transmission of this Torah, until at one point the Torah Shabbat Peh was written down. And after that, once the Talmud was written, we always go with what it says in the Gemara. And after that, the Gemara was given over. That's how the Rabbeinu Yomi explains that part of the Mishnah. And the Rab says that the reason why we want to stress all this Mesorah is because since this Masechta is going to speak about Midas, we want to teach us that even though the Goyim also discuss, the Chachmei Umas discuss what's ethics and what's Midas, we want to say that everything comes from the Torah. The Mishnah ends off, Hey Mamru, the Anshe Knesset Gedela said, Shloisha Dvarim, having Misunim Bedin, you should be careful in Din. And the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Dav Zayin Amabei says, Minaha Milsa, the Amir Rabbanon having Misunim Edim. What's the Makar? This Mishnah in Avos Perek Aleph Mishnah Aleph, because the pasuk says at the end of Parshas Yisro Leisala B'Malus Al Mizbechi, which means Rashi explains B'Malus B'Chazaka B'Merutza, running through it quickly. On that, the pasuk starts off Mishpatim Ve'ela HaMishpatim Asher Tasam with name, that it has to be done slowly and with a lot of Ian, not to make any mistakes. The second thing is Hamidu Talmidim Harbi, you should be Maimed a lot of Talmidim. And the third thing is Asu Siyag L'Torah, you should make a Siyag L'Torah, as the pasuk says, Rabbeinu Yomi brings down, V'shamarta mes mishmarti, and we darshan Asu Mishmeres L'Mishmarti.